If the Great Wall of China is an architectural symbol of the greatness of ancient China, the Qinghai-Tibetan Railway may well become the embodiment of China today, its power, industriousness, and determination. Tibet is called a forbidden country. It is the highest plateau on the planet, and until recently the way to the Tibetan shrines was long and difficult. In just 5 years and $3.5 billion in China built a highway length of 1,150 kilometers, connecting the roof of the world with the mainland. For objective reasons, the idea of the father of the nation could be returned only in the 1950s, under Chairman Mao. The project of a railroad to the capital of Tibet, Lhasa, was approved in 1960. However, its construction was frozen for almost a decade and a half. China hardly reaped the fruits of the Big Leap. Only in 1974, the construction of the first section of the future railway from the capital of Qinghai province and the city of Xining was resumed in the Tibetan highlands. 814 kilometers of railroad by the army and prisoners had been built in 5 years by 1979, but passenger traffic was not open there until 1984. Work on the second high mountain section of the Dole Jose was associated with engineering problems of particular complexity. The builders had to work in conditions of permafrost, lack of oxygen, and also the unique Tibetan ecosystem, the preservation of which was declared by the Chinese party and government a matter of paramount importance. Moreover, the construction of the Dole-Hosa Railway was a key stage in China's Western Development Program, which aims to eliminate disparities in the development of the eastern and western regions of the country. Another important, and perhaps the main task of the Chinese government was to strengthen the links with the Tibetan autonomy, the control over which was established again only in 1950 with the mainland of China. According to the project approved by Chinese President Jiang Zemin in 2000, the total length of the new railroad was to be 1,142 kilometers. On this section were organized 45 stations, 38 of which were automatic, without staffing. From Golma, the Tibetan line climbed from 2,800 meters above sea level to the Tongkla Pass at 5,072 meters, and then descended. In the cross-section, the embankment was perforated by a network of pipes to provide better ventilation, and its slopes were covered by special metal sheets that reflected the sunlight, and thus even more prevented it from heating up. In some areas there were also built wells filled with liquid nitrogen. All these measures actually froze the embankment under the road, preventing the heating of the upper layer of permafrost piles, the bases of which rest deep in the permafrost, thanks to which seasonal thawing of the top layer does not affect the stability of the structure. The gaps between the piers do not prevent free air circulation under them, which minimizes the additional heat effect of the railroad. In addition to the technical component, an important advantage of the overpass sections is the fact that they do not prevent free movement under the main line. Sections of the Qinghai-Tibetan Road were laid on an embankment on the surface of the earth, fenced throughout, and for the crossing to prevent the Chinese from building a large enough station worthy of a record-breaking station. In most cases, the doors of the carriages are not even opened. For an unprepared person to be at an altitude where the air pressure is only about 35–40% of the standard sea level is a definite threat to health. In addition, the trains have restaurant cars. The capacity of the main line is 8 pairs of passenger trains per day, not including freight trains. Currently, Lhasa is connected by regular passenger traffic not only with the neighboring regional center Xining, but also with the largest cities of the country, Beijing and Shanghai. The Beijing-Lhasa Express train travels 44 hours, with ticket prices ranging from $125 for the coach to $200 for the coupe, depending on class. Construction of the Qinghai-Tibetan Railway began in 2001. with about 20,000 workers simultaneously beginning to lay the line from both terminals. Galmud and Alhassa coped with the responsible task of the party in just 5 years, spending $3.68 billion. According to the official data, no one died in the process, even despite the long work and not the most comfortable conditions for it. In 12 years of operation, the road transported more than 180 million passengers and 500 million tons of cargo. The annual passenger traffic increased from 6.5 million. The annual freight turnover has increased from 25 million tons in 2006 to 56 million tons in 2012. It is already evident that the new railroad has significantly boosted the economic development of Tibet and neighboring Qinghai province. The tourism industry has also received a new impetus to development, although it is still not possible for anyone to simply take the Beijing train to Lhasa, for example. To visit Tibet, the Chinese government, as before, requires a special permit, without which they simply will not put you on the train. Skeptics, however, believe the Qinghai-Tibet Railway is just another stage in the gradual Chinese colonization of a peculiar autonomous region and the locomotive of the development of its natural resources. Geologists have already discovered deposits of copper, lead and zinc in the highlands of Tibet, raw materials badly needed by the thriving Chinese industry. Of course, environmentalists fear that the presence of a modern railroad in the region will only encourage the Chinese government to quickly develop these deposits with unpredictable consequences for the region's fragile ecosystem, but so far these fears are unconfirmed. But it is difficult to deny the popularity of the road among Tibetans, who have got an opportunity to easily and quickly get to the highly developed eastern regions of the country, and especially among tourists, for whom the highway is a great attraction, created with typical Chinese persistence, literally turning mountains. A trip along the Qinghai-Tibetan Railway leaves no one indifferent. One gets the impression that its designers and builders have approached a certain limit, beyond which there is a completely different reality of railroad construction.